Welcome to Foam to Fortune, the ultimate podcast for spray foam insulation industry. Whether you're a contractor aiming to take your business to the next level or a vendor bringing innovation to the market, this is the place where success stories are shared, insider tips are uncovered, and the industry secrets are revealed. Join us as we dive into the journeys of the spray foam pros who turn their dreams into thriving empires and discover tools and strategies to build your own path to fortune. Ready to elevate your spray foam game? Let's get started. Foam to Fortune, where innovation meets inspiration. What's up, everybody? I'm Spencer, the host of the Foam to Fortune podcast. And today's guest, Stuart Snyder, out of Tampa, Florida. He is one of the lead guys down there on the Mark Spray Foam, works for Mark Gordos. He's sales, one of the top sprayers. He's been in this business now for over a decade. What's up? Welcome to the show, Stuart.
How's it going?
It's going well, brother. How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm doing good.
Good to hear. Good to hear, man. Why don't you share with us? I know we've had a great conversation so far before the show started recording, but why don't you give all the listeners and viewers a little bit of background about you and how you kind of got started in the business, how long you've been doing this, and tell us who Stuart is.
Yep. So I used to do roofing down here, and I actually met my original employer for insulation. They were waiting for us to put the roof on the house so they could spray it, and I thought it was kind of cool because I didn't like the idea of carrying shingles up a ladder anymore.
True.
So everything kind of rolled in from there. The first job that I went to, I worked with a guy called Anthony Pasnissi.
Mm-hmm.
He actually won the championship at the Spray Foam Worldwide event this year in Daytona. So my first day, I was already working with some of the best guys in the industry, luckily, and
Wow.
I just learned from there.
That's great, man. And you had said you moved to Tampa. You'd moved from Detroit.
Yep. I grew up in Redford, Michigan, a small township just outside of Detroit, off 6 Mile and Telegraph. And I went through some tough times, and I had some addiction issues. I managed to get myself clean and clear-headed, and I moved down to Tampa to try and figure things out.
Congrats, man, on your sobriety. How long has it been?
I've been 12 years clean from heroin.
Wow. That's impressive, man. I hear that's a really, really difficult addiction to kick.
It was horrendous. I lost everything I cared about and somehow managed to build it back. And I found spray foam and the money I needed to fix the issues really easily because I was willing to do some of the craziest projects you've seen.
I love it, man. And also you're working for such an amazing person as well, with a boss.
Mark is an amazing guy. He just goes above and beyond for his employees. He tries really hard. As you can see, I have a brand new GMC I get to drive. I mean, I have a little bit of perks after being his lead guy after 5 years and doing sales, but I still install every day. I go out, I do sales. We do everything we can to try and make sure everybody's comfortable around here.
That's great, man. That's great. So you've been with Mark, I think you said about 6 years. Is that fair?
So at first I was it was mostly a side job, and I had found Mark, and Mark actually, it intrigued me to work for Mark because he was an older installer. And he had finally started his own business. And before he had started it, I was working for a different company, and I reached out to him, and he talked me through rebuilding my rig and figuring out what was wrong and diagnosing it and getting me running again without even being there, just off Facebook.
That's, if I had $100 for every time I've heard of a story that's similar to this, Stuart, I'd be an extremely rich person. And this is just a
funny
test.
The guy lived a mile away from me. We lived a mile apart, and I had never met him in person.
Well, yeah, and I'm not talking about not specifically just Mark, but I'm also talking about just the way the spray foam community is.
Yeah, that's another thing that I've noticed after all the years.
Spray
I've done
foam
quite a few
worldwide,
events.
things of that nature, where people are
Yep.
just willing to help.
Hey friends, it's Anna here. This episode with Stuart Snyder is sponsored by Spray Foam Genius. And I've got one question for you. Are the right people finding you online? If not, that's what we do. We make sure your business gets seen, so your crew stay working. Give us a call. Let's talk strategy. In the US, 877-840-FOAM. If you're our friends up north in Canada, call us at 877-741-FOAM. Chat soon. Now let's get back to the episode.
Yeah, everyone reaches out, and that's one of my favorite things with this community is I've done multiple events. I've stayed in touch with so many people that I've met. Like I still talk with like Mrs. Spray Foam all the time. I
She's
talk with
amazing.
Danny Walker all the time.
Danny was just on last week.
Yeah, Danny's one of like I talk to Danny all the time and Robbie and all those guys. I
Yep.
stay in touch with them because, like I said, I'm from Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, they're really close to where you grew up. Those guys
Yep.
are.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they're a little, it's like an hour north, but you know,
Around the
they'll
lake.
cover that area.
Yeah. That's
Danny
amazing.
does great work. Danny's an amazing person.
Yeah. Yeah. I got to know him just briefly last week, and obviously he's the Spray Foam Magazine Contractor of the Year. So
Oh yeah, that was awesome. I did not make the event this year. Usually I do them, but my son was just born earlier this year, and
Yeah.
my wife was actually going back to work like 2 days right before the event. I was just not going to do that to my family.
Congrats. You told me you have a 5-month-old son, correct?
Yep, I have he's 5 months old today actually.
Wow. And you guys, Stuart has one from every generation, essentially, right?
One from every
17?
decade. So
Or
I have
sorry.
5-month-old. He's going to be 8 years old in November, and my daughter will be 18 and graduating in July this year.
He's spread them out. He wants to be a father for life.
Yeah.
Have kids in the house for his whole time.
Yep.
That's amazing. What I know you mentioned your sobriety, and I know that's probably hasn't been a difficult thing, or sorry, an easy thing to continue to keep overcoming. But can you share with us, like, what keeps you sober these days?
So I have my family, and I have a good support system. And before, I really wasn't close with my family. And now, like I said, I just had a baby and everything again. But I've reconnected with a lot of my family that I had fallen out of touch with, and I wasn't keeping in contact with. I'm the oldest man left in my family. So I have a lot of girls that I try and take care of, and then my two sons that are 8 and 5 months. So I stay busy, and luckily for me and Mark have a great relationship, and he's a good support system. He shows up like it's a family company. He
Yeah.
shows up for me almost. If I call him, he'd be here.
Of course, and that helps, especially having stability, and you have all these years being clean. Like, why throw it away now? You know what I mean?
Right. Like I actually I've been through my stories and everything too, and it's funny, a couple of the guys that I work with, it's all the same story. They through recovery and everything, and we all got clean. We're all starting to get older, but some of us have families, and we're trying to settle down and figure out a trade. Spray foam's amazing, and if you get to experience some of the events, it's just the industry itself and the people in it.
Yeah, for sure. I was at Vegas last year. Unfortunately, I wasn't in Daytona this year. I had a couple team members down there to partake in the fun.
I did not want to go to Vegas. We had the baby on the way, and my wife was super pregnant.
And so, but you went anyway? You were out
I
there?
did not go.
Oh, you didn't go to
I
Vegas.
was scared. I missed the last two.
The last two you've missed. Did you get up to Minnesota to the Spray Foam
I
World
did
Rally?
the Spray Foam Carnival,
Yep.
and in 2023, I placed as number 3 in the open cell competition.
Wow. Are you looking?
Anthony won that year also.
Damn it, Anthony! This guy
I
just
know,
cleaning
right?
up all the time, right?
Hey, I
Oh,
mean, it's a good thing because I've been working with him. Like I said, my first day doing insulation, I worked with Anthony. So
Yeah.
it was, I mean, we learn from each other and learn and grow all the time.
That's amazing. Do you see yourself competing in some future events coming up to try to get one of those
Oh,
belts?
for sure. Now that I'm little, don't have a newborn baby or a baby on the way, definitely when things settle down. Luckily, my wife's not working right now. We were able to have her stay home because
Love that.
things are going well and we're spraying a lot of foam.
Love it. Love it, man. Well, congrats to you on the new edition, the Sobriety. Let's roll in. Let's chat about more specifically the spray foam stuff. Tell me about some of these unique projects that you guys have done, because it absolutely had me just rolling my eyes going, are you serious? So tell me about these unique
we've
projects.
been part of it's called the Patel Mansion. It's one of the biggest residential homes in the state of Florida. We were in the Spray Foam magazine for that.
Mm-hmm.
We did all open cell. It was SES open cell, and we did all kind of work in there. It was extremely big. I think the family bought a whole like neighborhood and built. It almost looks like a church, but it's a private home.
Wow.
Then we did Ritz Carlton in Tampa off of Bayshore. We made it also in Spray Foam magazine for that. We did a lot of closed cell. We used some Genet closed cell and 3 inches downstairs, and we did some no burn paint, the thermal barrier, because it was occupied space and wasn't being covered. And then we did 5.5 inches of open cell on the roof deck on the top 3 floors for thermal and sound. Then we also had a private project that we did out. It was Longboat Key right after the hurricane. We have a private cart rig that it's a portable cart, and we have a rollout generator that goes with it. So we had to put our cart and the generator and compressor and everything on a barge and go out. And so there was only 3 homes on this private island that you had to take a boat to. There's no bridge. You can't drive to it.
It's got to be one of the
we put it on the barge and barged it out there, and it was a 2-day job. We went out. We did a bunch of closed cell on the first floor because of the floodplain, and then the second and third floor we did open cell for the exterior walls, and the R30 for the roof deck.
Wow.
It was a pretty cool project because we were able to go out and actually hang out. We had jet skis right there. So me and Anthony were both there. So when he's spraying after he's good and it's all set up, I'm on the jet ski. And then I had a fishing pole. We were cooking fish with the little camping barbecue grill.
It was like a vacation.
It was cool. We were able to just private island. There's 5 people on the whole island.
Absolutely amazing. I don't think there's anybody else that we've had on the show or any other stories that I've heard where somebody sprayed a home on a private island and they got the rig out there on a barge.
And we brought jet skis.
What a trip, man. What a trip. That is most definitely takes the cake. I'll let you know if anybody beats that story in the future.
I actually changed my profile pictures to me spraying on Facebook. My profile picture and my cover photo are me spraying with the photographer on that job, and my finished work, the 2 inches of closed cell.
Is that the current profile picture?
I just changed it right before this. Yeah. My current photo and then my cover photo. That's actually me spraying there on the private island with the cart rig and then the finished work.
Love it, dude. I'm going to check it out because I remember when I sent you a message, I saw this new image of spraying, but it was small, so I couldn't really click on it and look at it. Amazing projects that you've been involved with. Let's chat about, I'm sure living in a beautiful place like Tampa, you've had an opportunity to spray some famous people's places. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah. So we've done a lot of work in the area for big celebrities. We were actually, about a month ago, I was just working on Baker Mayfield's house, the starting quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yep.
They had some moisture issues, and we had them remove drywall, and I went through and helped coordinate, and then went in and sprayed it. And
Wow.
then about 3 or 4 months ago, I think it was Tom Cruise or one of his relatives in Clearwater.
Okay.
We went through and did their whole, it was a retrofit attic. We gave them removal, and then we had to remediate some mold. And then we went through and did some open cell spray foam.
You guys have a lot of moisture issues down there because it's so humid?
There's a lot of moisture issues with older attics that have pre-existing insulation with the fiberglass, because a lot of people don't realize what's happening in their attic system, because regular homeowners aren't going to go in their attic or don't understand the building science behind the application.
Yeah. And it sounds like you're pretty on top of the building science these days.
Yeah, like I said, we've went through and I've taken classes and everything. I try and stay certified and up to date on all the codes. I coordinate safety, and I actually do sales here. I do a lot of the spraying too. We have 3 rigs that go out. Run one of the rigs. I spray about 35, 40 hours a week on top of doing the sales.
Wow.
And we stay busy. We're really lucky.
What do you guys attribute to staying busy? Is it because
The
of
quality of work
the
speaks
leadership?
for itself. The quality of work speaks for itself, and it started with the leadership and guidance.
Yeah.
Because all of our core guys here have all had some experience and work together, and we've all learned from Mark. And
Yeah.
It really, it's one of the most unique companies that I've ever worked for.
Well, and I know Mark doesn't take any shit, and so
Oh no,
knowing that he doesn't take shit, I know
Mark's you either love him or you hate him type of person. But he'll try and help you.
Yeah. I'll have to tell you my first interaction with Mark off of the podcast, and
I'm sure you do.
You'll have a good laugh about it, but maybe we'll talk about it on his episode when he comes up here. I think it's next week or week after that. But you've probably sprayed pretty much every foam out there, and I'm just curious.
I've been spraying since before the air mixers were out. I was spraying isonine when they used to send you an oar, and I'd have to stand there with an oar like we're going canoeing and stir my barrel for 30 minutes.
What, dude? I've never heard of this before.
Oh yeah, you had to like paddle the foam before you could spray it.
Oh my God, that's crazy. What I'm curious about, Stuart, is do you have a favorite? Like you've sprayed a lot of foam. Do you have a favorite? I know you mentioned Gen Ec.
I really in our area we do a pretty, you'd be surprised because it's Florida. We still use a lot of closed cell because of the moisture and floodplain. So when I'm using closed cell, I really like the UPC closed cell, the HFO UPC. And for my open cell, I've been spraying isonine for over a decade. I mean, open cell, give me isonine every single time.
Interesting. Okay. I couldn't tell you the difference between any of them, just so you know.
Now that isonine actually started, isonine started color like dyeing their foam, so now it's like a blue color.
Blue? Okay.
The only open cells it's like a blue color right now.
Got it. I've seen the purple, and then obviously Gen
Purple's closed cell, and that's like Canadian closed cell. I was asking Mark, actually. I seen a post yesterday. I was trying to convince Mark, like, find me some
purple foam.
Yeah, I wanted to spray the purple foam.
Barney foam, right?
Right. My daughter wants me to redo. I have a metal building in my house, actually, so she wants purple foam. I'm going to try my best.
Well, maybe you could add something to it or put a paint over the top of it or something. So you were talking about, spraying all these different types of foam. What is it about the foam that you like, as well as do you just kind of make requests as being Mark's lead guy, that hey, I want this product for this project? Is that how that works? Or
What's up, Foam to Fortune fam? Brielle here from Spray Foam Genius, and we're sponsoring today's episode with Stuart Snyder. I know what it's like to feel like you're doing everything right, but still wondering where are the leads. We help spray foam businesses just like you change that. You deserve to stay busy, and that's exactly what we do. Give us a call today. 877-840-FOAM. Chat soon.
So certain projects are spec'd to use certain material, but if it's not spec'd, usually he'll just ask me my opinion, and sometimes we will look at trying to see if we get a better yield with different products. So like usually we'll try something here or there, and he'll just ask me my opinion.
I love that.
And 99% of the time I tell him UPC for closed cell.
Yeah. Plus the people at UPC are
amazing.
I know a handful of them. So who's your
me too.
sales rep over there?
So like if I ever ran into any issues, I've met Rusty Schrader multiple times in person, and obviously if you're in spray foam and you don't know who Rusty Schrader is,
you probably should get out, right?
You should probably figure out who he is.
Oh man, especially I mean he's been sitting on the board SPFA for many years, I believe.
Yeah.
Owner Allstate.
He was there judging the event when I was part of it a few years back. I've met him multiple times at multiple events. He's a really good guy.
So when you're having UPC issues, you call Rusty because now that he's...
If I had to, with my experience, I don't really run into issues other than regular maintenance that needs to be done. I mean, I do, if I did have to reach out, I know Rusty would definitely answer.
For sure. As well as, I don't know, Aaron and his wife, is it Chelsea? I think is her name.
My wife is
Aaron.
It's really funny. My wife's name is Aaron, and my daughter's name is Chelsea.
You're like, what is this guy talking about?
Yeah, I'm like, wait, hold on.
No, I'm talking about sales reps over at UPC.
Chelsea Meissner, I believe.
Chelsea, and then Aaron's her husband.
Yep. Yeah.
So, I met those two at the Vegas show. So, regulation. I know this is a little bit controversial. We've spoken about this quite often here on the Foam to Fortune podcast in the past. Do you feel like the industry needs some form of regulation to kind of slow things down here from all these people that are entering without any friction and undercutting you guys?
I feel like it's not even about the undercutting. It really is just about making sure that you're processing the chemical correctly and learning. I support regulation because there should be a thorough training process to do this. You could potentially ruin someone's home or their health. It's very important to understand the safety behind why we have to do things a certain way for your own health as an installer and the homeowner.
Yep. And you shared with me that you listened to the Trevor Cochran episode. Obviously he's Canadian. Canada has
some of the most strict regulations.
Correct. Do you think that that's what the United States regulations should look like? Is something like Canada's?
I don't necessarily think it needs to be that strict, but I think that the industry across the board should just try and cover, like if Canada's having regulations that require this sort of chemical, maybe our training process may not have to be as thorough. I'm not exactly sure how we would go about that, but there should be an industry standard set for you to be able to actually install into someone's home.
I agree.
At least for spray foam. Now, for blown-in insulation and things like that, you're not actually manufacturing a product into someone's home.
Correct. You're not the chemist.
Right. So this is one of the few trades where you actually manufacture on site. And where I work, we actually record and process all the data. We have to record the chemical batch numbers for everything. We process and like write down the temperature of the substrate, the temperature of the barrels, the chemical, like the pressure I'm spraying at, the
Sounds like
humidity
Canadian
outside, the
log.
dew point. Right. Well, it's if you have an actual failure while you're using that product and you can record this data, the manufacturer say, I'm using isonine. If I record all this data and I have a failure in the system, isonine will stand by their policies and come and help us because we actually have a process and procedure behind how we do things.
Well, and I know any manufacturer, whenever there's failed foam, nobody ever wants to look at themselves as possibly the problem. They always accuse the manufacturer. And so then the manufacturer says, well, Stuart, what was your temperatures? What was this? What was that? And if you don't have it logged, you can't tell them.
Exactly.
And then they're going to say, well, it's not our fault.
On top of it, I have some of the newest equipment in the industry right now. I have a brand new R3 rig. So I even have, it records the data for me and even failure logs and everything. So like if I have a failure, we can go and look at what exactly failed. Is it an applicator error? Is it off? Is it something with the gun? And the rig shuts itself off.
Wow, that is amazing technology. So you're not actually pen and paper keeping track.
Well, we do pen and paper too. I actually record it physically, but I have a log in the machine as well.
Dude, that's impressive, man. Like that's the first I've heard of that. Obviously I don't spray foam, but that sounds like that is the Cadillac of machines out there.
Yep. Actually, we have another R3 H30 rig that's available right now, and we're looking for hiring a few guys. I'm actually potentially looking at trying to find a protege to kind of show them how I'm doing things. Because I feel like I've been pretty successful in the industry in this area specifically.
Yeah.
I'm trying to branch out and start to do sales more because obviously with a newborn baby, I don't want to be on the road installing every day.
It makes sense. Makes sense. Plus, there's going to be a period of time here where your body says, I've had enough.
I'm getting there. I'll be actually, my birthday's Friday this week. I'll be 37 years old.
Happy birthday, bro.
Yeah, it's, you know, living the dream, man.
Yeah. Times have changed a lot. I would say probably since you found spray foam. You know, you were an addict. I'm guessing probably about the same time as you started within the business.
Yeah, I actually had 1 year clean when I had started in the industry.
Yeah. Would you say that spray foam, or like, do you think spray foam saved your life?
I really and honestly do, because I would go that far. This is one of the first opportunities that I got where if I was willing to put the effort in and I could actually produce and perform, I was actually given the opportunity to get a very nice wage.
Yeah.
I was blessed to find piece rate and or like I don't work piece rate right now personally, me, because I've had some health issues. I was fighting skin cancer, and sometimes I'm not always available to work all year. So like if I'm on piece rate as an installer, I can't make any money. But if I'm an hourly guy that's training, I'm able to still be able to at least help the process and be there.
Yeah, for sure. So spray foam saved your life, as well as you mentioned cancer, man. You've had skin cancer 13 times.
13 times in the last 4 years. I've had 13 different procedures. Multiple spots were stage 2 melanoma.
Wow.
So I was using RSO, Rick Simpson oil. It was actually made to the guy that made it. Rick Simpson had stage 4 melanoma. I used it for a year, and after 1 year of using it, I was actually diagnosed like cancer-free last month for the first time in 4 years. So
congrats, man.
Good feeling.
Congrats. For those that don't know who Rick Simpson is, obviously I know who he is as a cannabis user, and also the science behind Rick Simpson oil. But can you give a little bit of like background so people know, like, what is he talking about, this RSO?
So it's you can use it as a topical, or an edible. I was actually for me to treat myself, I was doing like 2 BB size balls of oil underneath my tongue, and my wife would help me because it's on my back. If we seen any abnormal spots, we were actually rubbing it right like an oil or a topical lotion right on the spots.
Man, it's amazing. I've heard of stories like this, never known anybody, Stuart, that actually, you know, we'll just say cannabis, cured
I was
cancer.
going through 3 or 4 surgeries a year for the last few years, and I did 1 year of RSO, and they
Clean
told
up.
me they only need to see me once a year.
Wow. Well, and then do you use that as a preventative method now to like?
I still do. Yeah, I do. Obviously, with so many situations that have came up, I definitely try and stay preventative with it. And I'm just hoping that it continues to keep going this way, because the options other than that, having it was never to the point where I was doing chemo or anything like that, but I was being cut multiple times a year, and I have a not small family, and I'm the only one working right now. So
Yeah,
definitely need dad
you
to
have
be
a
at
lot of
work.
weight, on your
Right.
shoulders, brother.
Definitely need dad to be at work.
Hey guys, it's Anna with Spray Foam Genius. We are so pumped to sponsor this episode with Stuart Snyder. If you're a contractor and you're tired of slow weeks, I've got good news. We help spray foam businesses rank higher on Google, which means more leads and more booked jobs. If your phone's not ringing, we can help. Call us at 877-840-FOAM or Canada 844-741-FOAM. Chat with you soon.
Yeah, you sitting at the house recovering from skin cancer is not making you the money that you
Yeah.
need to be doing with your running a crew, doing sales for Mark and
It's
such.
just uncomfortable because even doing sales, you're still going to have to climb or lift something. And it's been an unfortunate thing. It was in multiple spots that were very uncomfortable.
Yeah. Thankfully, you're not having to deal with the sutures, the cuts being, open anymore with, sweating.
Oh,
And
yeah, definitely. I am so happy that I got a good diagnosis this year.
dude, that's amazing. Your story of sobriety, the story of overcoming.
This is one of my
cancer.
favorite parts of the day right now. It's actually sunset, and it's like 70 degrees. And in the next like 5 to 10 minutes, you're going to see like purple, orange, pink, every color you can think of just from the sunset.
Wow. That's what you look
That's
forward
one of
to.
my biggest things at the end of the day I enjoy, is coming out and catching the sunset.
We all need those things that we look forward to. So
Yep.
I know we briefly pre-show chatted about mindset, and I'd love to kind of do a little bit of a deeper dive about that. I'm guessing as a child that grew up in the Detroit area, former addict, you didn't have a lot of positive influences around. But
My
you
dad was a single dad, and I was home alone a lot of the time. I was in sports when I was younger, but once I started getting older, I kind of ventured off and didn't stay interested into the sports and everything.
And got hung up with the wrong crowd, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and definitely, it was one of the toughest things that I've ever went through, and I kind of attribute that to kind of why I'm so dedicated and motivated now. When I was young, I was like 20 years old when I went through, 21 years old. I ended up going to prison for a few years, and then I got out and decided to turn my life around. Luckily, my mom and my stepdad gave me an opportunity to come down and help me with the job roofing, and everything went from there. I met my old boss on a job there waiting for me to put the roof back on.
Yeah.
And never turned back. I don't want to be in the roof in Florida. It's funny. It's still just as hot, but spray foam, if you know what you're doing, spray foam's much easier.
True that, man. But I guess, you know, having the upbringing that you had, I'm guessing mindset wasn't talked about a lot around you, Stuart. Like, have a
It was
positive
more
mindset.
of a, I was taught, my dad was old school kind of guy. He was born in his 50s, and he was kind of tough on his sons. I
Yeah.
didn't have a mom. I didn't meet my mom until I was a teenager, and like now me and my mom have a great relationship, but as a kid I didn't really understand the process. My mom and dad had divorced when I was really young. It was tough with an upbringing like that. I had a dad that was gone, and I was with babysitters and stuff like that.
Yeah. So when did you, I know you say that you're, you know, like to watch some of my other content that's more about mindset and motivation and things like that. When did you actually start to kind of have that interest and know that, hey, like all that negative stuff that I grew up with, that's not really the truth. Like I can wake up in the morning and I can have a positive mindset and
I
my
can
day
have a
can
positive
really change.
mindset and affect the people that are looking up to me, and I can't carry this negative baggage.
Yeah.
It's been a thing for a long time, and I've been working at it. My biggest focus in life has been being able to take care of my family.
Yeah.
I'm the oldest man left in my family with my last name. I have
Mhm.
a lot of women in my family, and I just try and wake up and stay focused on the goals. And sometimes I feel like I'm dragging ass to the finish line, but it's a good feeling to be able to look at what I've accomplished and know I'm taking care of my whole family.
Yeah, man, that's I know it's a lot of weight for us men to carry around because I know the feeling. I've always been the type of guy that's been a hard worker, always felt like I needed to provide. My wife in 2020 became disabled, and so I had to provide for her. She won't work again ever, which is great that I've been able to allow her that space to heal. Without pressure of having to go back and, you know, work financially because you don't have a choice.
Yep. So
So
that's the same thing how I feel with my wife. We're lucky that with my income, with what I do, we're able to afford. It's not for a medical reason, but for my son, I just personally don't want to have my newborn son in a daycare. And I
no,
feel
man.
like when I come home and I see how he looks at my wife and my whole family's here,
Mm,
like I love that. That's why I do this.
yeah, the family, man. You know, I think for us that I didn't grow up with a good environment at home either. Not really I mean, it was a broken home. We'll just say, to me, one of the best things is having a connected family now and breaking that generational, you know, trauma or generational like disconnect that you and I both grew up in.
Yep. Times were different. I'm pushing 40 years old. Times were different back then.
Yeah, I'm 46, knocking on the door of 47 here in a few months. And so, yeah, times were different back in the 80s and the 90s. That's for dang sure, man.
Oh yeah.
So, but man, it's been great listening to man, your story is, I hope people find motivation through listening to somebody that's you know, a former inmate, former addict, now a guy that's successful running a crew, doing sales, has this passion of
I have my house paid off.
yeah, overcame cancer. My God,
Yep.
dude, like you've had a lot of challenges, and sometimes I think it's important for us to slow down and really like look back on our life and realize, man,
Appreciate the things that you have. You never know. You never know what's going to happen, and just take everything as a blessing.
so many of these things should have took you out. Honestly,
Yeah.
statistically, should have took you out. It was, you know, either doing crimes that landed you in prison,
I was
the
an apprentice
heroin.
glass glazer when I was a teenager, working for Safety Auto Glass, and had glass fall on me. It sliced through my index, middle finger, and ring finger on my right hand, and all the way across my forearm, and I had to have two blood transfusions also.
Whoa, dude,
Survived that too.
it's like you're a cat.
I know.
Stuart's got 9 lives, bro.
I think I'm down to 1 left.
Let's not say that, man. Let's not say that.
I'm just more careful now. I'm getting old.
Yeah. Well, or wiser, right? More wise.
Wiser, older, and smarter, hopefully.
That it's been an amazing conversation, Stuart. As you said, Mark, before you even worked for him, was trying to help you out. And I've noticed this pattern where a lot of the spray foam community are they're just always there to help.
Yep.
If people want to connect with you, Stuart, number one, about the employment, it sounds like a great opportunity if you have a need or a want to like get out of the winter, go down to sunny Florida and work for an amazing company over at On the Mark Spray Foam. How do they get in touch with you to either talk about the employment or just shoot the shit and like connect with you, Stuart? What's the best way?
Connect with me on Facebook. My Facebook's Stuart, Stuart, Snyder, Snyder.
Mhm.
And the phone number for the company 352-942-4593.
Yeah. So if there's interest, reach out to Stuart. If you guys are, looking to leave your current situation, want to have a great opportunity, become a really seasoned sprayer, being taught under, I guess apprenticing is what we'd say, learning from Stuart and his success that he's built himself. As you guys heard, spray foam saved Stuart's life. That is something I haven't heard before. And it's really, I can tell spray foam fires you up, bro. Like it absolutely, like
Sure.
you're super passionate about it. And I've really enjoyed the conversation. Thanks for coming on the show, man.
Great talking.
Yeah, man. If you guys are looking for, just some connection, some camaraderie, like some brotherhood, reach out to Stuart. If you guys are looking at maybe making a jump from some snowy state like New York or Michigan or Minnesota, hit up Stuart. You guys can find yourself down in Florida employed with Mark's team.
Yeah, it would be good to talk to anybody. Definitely looking forward to trying to meet and learn from somebody else too.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, thanks for coming on, man. And I appreciate you. I'll chat with you soon, Stuart.
Yes, sir.
Take care.
Bye.
See ya.